The massive doors of the council chamber slid open with a deep rumble that echoed through the vast space. Admiral Zefkal walked in first, his 6 legs clicking against the metal floor. Behind him came representatives from 11 other alien species, each one looking worried and scared. Jake Morrison sat in the human section, watching the aliens take their seats. He wore his best uniform, but he felt small in this huge room. The ceiling stretched up so high that clouds formed near the top. Giant screens showed star maps with red dots marking human colonies that had appeared in the last year. Commander Vextal of the Crystalline People spoke first. Her voice sounded like breaking glass. The humans are spreading too fast. They take planets that should kill them in days. Our scientists say these worlds are impossible to live on. Jake kept his face calm, but inside he was nervous. The aliens were right. Humans were taking dangerous planets and somehow making them work, but not because of any secret weapon. Admiral Zefkal stood up. His 4 arms gestured at the star map. 3 months ago, human ships attacked our mining station at Kepler 442. We had 50 warships defending it. The humans had only 12 small ships. They should have been destroyed in minutes. The other aliens nodded and made sounds of agreement. A representative from the slug-like Garati people spoke up. "Tell him what happened next, Admiral." Zefkal's face darkened. The human ships somehow got past all our defenses. They moved in ways our computers said were impossible. They hit us from directions that should have been empty space. In 6 hours, they had taken our station. Jake remembered that battle. The human ships had not used any special technology. Captain Ron Bradley had come up with a crazy plan to hide behind asteroids and attack from blind spots. Half the human ships had been damaged so badly they almost fell apart. 3 pilots had to be rescued after their ships lost life support. But the aliens did not know that. Dr. Lisa Carter, sitting next to Jake, took notes on her tablet. She was the smartest person Jake knew, but even she looked worried. The aliens were asking questions that had no good answers. A representative from the insect-like Threx people buzzed loudly. "We have reports from 17 different worlds. Human colonies on planets with acid rain. Human cities built inside active volcanoes. Human farms growing food in soil that burns through metal." This was also true, but not for the reasons the aliens thought. Humans were just too stubborn to give up. When the acid rain burned through their first shelters, they built stronger ones. When the volcanic ash poisoned their crops, they kept trying new plants until something grew. When the soil ate through their equipment, they made new equipment from local materials. The leader of the council, an ancient being called the Eldest, spoke in a voice like wind through caves. "Commander Morrison, your people have done things that break the laws of physics. Our greatest scientists cannot explain how humans survive in conditions that would kill any other species." Jake stood up slowly. "You're just ordinary people trying to make new homes? Ordinary people do not walk on planets where the gravity should crush their bones," said a representative from the floating area species. "Ordinary people do not breathe air that is mostly poison. Our pilots cannot fly through asteroid fields that humans navigate like empty space," added Admiral Zefkal. "Your ships appear and disappear from our sensors. Your soldiers fight for days without food or water." Jake thought about the real reasons behind these stories. Human pilots took risks that other species thought were insane. They flew through asteroid fields because they were desperate, not because they had special technology. Human soldiers kept fighting when they were hungry and tired, because giving up meant everyone would die. Dr. Carter leaned over and whispered, "They think we have some kind of super weapon." The Eldest raised one of his many arms for silence. "Council has reviewed all reports about human activities in the outer sectors. We have reached a conclusion." The room became very quiet. Jake felt his heart beating fast. "Humanity possesses technology that gives them impossible advantages," the Eldest continued. "This technology represents a threat to the balance of power in the galaxy. Therefore, the Council demands that humanity reveal the nature of this secret weapon." Jake felt cold. "I do not understand what you mean." Admiral Zefkal pointed at the star map. "Do not pretend ignorance, human, your species. has spread to 47 worlds in 1 year. You have defeated military forces 3 times your size. You have colonized planets that our best terraforming equipment cannot make livable. We vote, announced the eldest. All in favor of demanding humanity reveal their secret weapon technology? One by one, every alien representative raised arms, tentacles, or other body parts to vote yes. Jake was the only one who did not vote. The motion passes, said the eldest. Commander Morrison, you have 1 standard galactic week to prepare humanity's response. You will return here and demonstrate this secret weapon technology. You'll also provide complete technical specifications. Jake's mouth felt dry. And if we refuse, then humanity will be quarantined, said Admiral Zefkal. No trade routes to human space, no diplomatic contact, no travel permits for human ships. Your species will be isolated until you choose to cooperate. The eldest stood up, ending the meeting. 1 week, Commander Morrison. Do not test our patience. As the aliens began to leave, Jake sat down heavily in his chair. Dr. Carter looked pale. What are we going to do? We do not have any secret weapon. Jake watched the last of the alien representatives walk out of the chamber. The huge doors closed with another deep rumble, leaving the humans alone in the vast space. I do not know, Jake said quietly. But we better think of something fast. The doors to the command room on the UCS Defiant slid shut behind Jake Morrison. He walked to the large table where his senior officers were waiting. Captain Ron Bradley looked up from a datapad showing battle reports. Communications officer. Amy Walsh was checking messages from Earth. Dr. Lisa Carter sat quietly, her face pale from worry. Well, asked Captain Bradley, how bad is it? Jake pulled out a chair and sat down hard. They want us to show them our secret weapon in 1 week. If we do not, they will cut us off from the entire galaxy. Amy looked confused. What secret weapon? We do not have any secret weapon, that is the problem, said Jake. They think we do. Dr. Carter opened her tablet and showed them alien reports. Look at these intelligence files they shared with us. According to the Zephyrians, our pilots can see through solid rock. The Vexstar believe our ships can move faster than light without using jump engines. The Garati think our soldiers can survive in hard vacuum for hours. Captain Bradley laughed, but it was not a happy sound. I remember that vacuum story. Private Danny Torres got sucked out of an airlock during the battle at Proxima Station. He was in space for 12 minutes before we could rescue him. He nearly died, said Amy. The aliens think that means we have special technology. Jake looked at the star map on the wall.
Our red dots
Showed human colonies scattered across dangerous worlds. They are right about one thing. We are doing impossible things. Just not the way they think. Dr. Carter pulled up more reports. The Threx people say we can eat poisonous plants. The truth is that colonists on Haven 7 were starving, so they kept trying different plants until they found ones that would not kill them. 50 people got sick, 3 died. But the survivors learned which plants were safe. What about the Kepler 442? Battle? Asked Captain Bradley. Admiral Zefkal thinks we used invisible ships. Jake remembered that fight clearly. You hid our ships behind asteroids. When the enemy moved into position, you had our pilots fire from behind cover. The aliens never saw our ships because they were not looking in the right places. It was just basic tactics, said Bradley. Any military academy student would know that trick. Amy's communication board started beeping. She pressed a button and a hologram appeared above the table. Admiral Patricia Stone from Earth Command looked tired and worried. Commander Morrison, said the hologram, I got your report about the council meeting. So how much time do we have? 6 days now, replied Jake. Admiral, they are serious about this quarantine threat. If they cut us off from galactic trade routes, our outer colonies will not survive. Admiral Stone nodded. I know. I have been reading the same intelligence reports you have. The aliens really believe we have some kind of super technology, Doctor. Carter leaned forward. Admiral, what if we tell them the truth? Explain that humans are just good at adapting to difficult situations. I thought about that, said Admiral Stone. But our analysts ran computer models. The aliens learned that. Humans have no secret weapons. they will realize we are not as dangerous as they think. Some of them might decide to attack us while we are still weak." The room became quiet. Everyone understood what the Admiral meant. Humanity was still new to space travel. Their ships were not as advanced as alien technology. Their colonies were small and far from Earth. If the aliens stopped being afraid of humans, humanity might not survive. Captain Bradley spoke first. "So we need to keep them scared." "Yes, but how?" asked Amy. "We cannot show them a weapon that does not exist." Dr. Carter was quiet for a long moment. Then she looked up with a strange expression on her face. "What if we could?" Jake stared at her. "What do you mean?" "The aliens want to see our secret weapon," said Dr. Carter slowly. "They have already decided what they think it does. What if we give them exactly what they expect to see?" Admiral Stone's image flickered as the connection got weaker. "Explain." "That, Doctor." Dr. Carter stood up and walked to the wall screen. She pulled up the alien intelligence reports. "Look at these stories. The aliens think we can manipulate probability. They think we can make impossible things happen just by wanting them to happen." "That is crazy," said Captain Bradley. "Exactly," said Dr. Carter with a smile. "It is so crazy that no one would believe we could fake it. What if we built a machine? That looks like it can control luck and chance. What if we staged demonstrations that seem to prove we can change the laws of physics?" Jake felt a strange excitement growing in his chest. "You want us to lie to the entire galaxy?" "I want us to give them a lie they want to believe," said Dr. Carter. "The aliens are already scared of us. They've convinced themselves that we have impossible technology. All we have to do is show them something that confirms what they already think." Amy looked worried. "But what if they find out we are lying?" Admiral Stone's image was getting fainter, and we better make sure they never find out. "Dr. Carter, do you think this plan could work?" Dr. Carter looked at the alien reports again. The aliens have been trying to explain human success for months. They have rejected every logical explanation because logic says humans should have failed. The only explanation they accept is that we have technology that breaks the rules of science. "So we show them technology that breaks the rules," said Jake. "Show them something that looks like it breaks the rules," corrected Dr. Carter. "We build a fake weapon that appears to do impossible things. We create demonstrations that seem to prove we can control chance and probability." Captain Bradley was starting to smile. "Like a magic show, but for aliens who do not understand magic?" "Exactly," said Dr. Carter. "We use their own beliefs against them. They want to see a probability manipulation device, so we build one. It will not actually work, but they will not know that." Admiral Stone's connection was almost gone.
"How
long do you need to prepare this deception?" "We have 6 days," said Jake. "Dr. Carter, can you design a fake weapon in that time?" "I can design the theory," she replied. "But we will need help building it and planning the demonstrations." Hologram of Admiral Stone flickered one last time.
do it?"
"The survival of humanity may depend on selling the biggest lie in galactic history." The connection ended, leaving the 4 humans alone in the command room. Jake looked around the table at his officers. They were planning to trick every advanced alien species in the known galaxy. "Well," said Captain Bradley, "this should be interesting." Dr. Lisa Carter had not slept in 2 days. Her desk was covered with papers, tablet computers, and half-empty coffee cups. She was writing the technical plans for a machine that would never work, but had to look like it could do impossible things. "Quantum resonance field generator," she said out loud, testing how the name sounded. It was complicated enough that aliens would think it was real science, but meaningless enough that no one could prove it was fake. Engineer Pete Collins walked into her lab, carrying a box of spare parts. "I brought everything you asked for, holographic. Projectors, sound generators, and some pieces from the coffee machine in the mess hall." Lisa looked at the parts. "Can you make it look alien and dangerous?" "I can make it look like something that fell out of a nightmare. Give me 2 more days." Across the ship, historian Dr. Kate Morgan was creating fake history. She had turned her quarters into a research center, with books and artifacts spread. Across every surface, her computer showed pictures of made-up alien ruins on Earth. "The precursor race," she muttered while typing. "They lived on Earth 65 million years ago. They left behind advanced technology that humans discovered in underground ruins. She created false carbon dating reports that showed alien artifacts were older than the dinosaurs. Her 3D printer was making fake alien devices from plastic and metal. She painted them with chemicals that made them look ancient and mysterious. Dr. Kate's door chimed. Captain Ron Bradley entered, looking at the fake artifacts on her table. Does look real enough to fool me? Will they fool alien scientists? They do not need to be perfect, replied Dr. Kate. The aliens want to believe that humans found ancient technology. They're looking for evidence that confirms what they already think. Down in the flight bay, pilot Danny Torres was practicing impossible flying tricks. His small fighter ship twisted and turned through a course of floating barriers. To anyone watching, it looked like he was bending the laws of physics. Amy Walsh stood nearby with a tablet, recording everything. That last turn should have ripped your ship apart, she said. Danny climbed out of his fighter, sweating and tired. It almost did. I pushed the engines past their safety limits. Any harder and the ship would explode. ... But the aliens do not know. That, said Amy. On their sensors, it will look like you ignored gravity and momentum. Danny wiped his face with a towel. What about the sensor ghosts you mentioned? Amy showed him a small device. Pete built these transmitters. I will hide them around the flight bay. When you fly, they will create false readings on alien sensors. It will look like your ship is in two places at the same time. Meanwhile, Dr. Lisa Carter was putting the finishing touches on her fake science. She had written 50 pages explaining how the quantum resonance field generator worked. None of it was real, but it sounded impressive. The device manipulates quantum probability fields, she read from her notes. By adjusting the resonance frequency, humans can increase the likelihood of favorable outcomes while decreasing the probability of failure. Jake Morrison entered her lab. Do you think the aliens will believe it? Lisa looked at her fake technical documents. The aliens have been trying to explain human success for months. They have ruled out luck, skill, and determination. The only explanation they accept is that we have impossible technology. Pete Collins arrived carrying a large covered object. The quantum resonance field generator is ready. He pulled off the cover to reveal a machine that looked like alien technology from a science fiction movie. The device was 3 feet tall and covered in blinking lights. Crystal formations grew from its sides. Strange symbols were carved into its metal surface. When Pete turned it on, it hummed with an otherworldly sound and projected holographic patterns in the air. What does it actually do? Asked Jake. It makes lights and sounds, replied Pete with a smile. Crystals are just colored glass. The symbols mean nothing. The holograms are pretty pictures, but it looks like something that could change reality. Doctor. Kate Morgan joined them, carrying a box of fake artifacts. I have created a complete history of how humans discovered precursor technology. Archaeological reports, scientific studies, even fake news articles from 20 years ago. She showed them a crystal tablet covered in alien writing. Cording. To my research, humans found this instruction manual in ruins under the Sahara Desert. It explains how to build probability manipulation devices. Amy Walsh ran into the lab, looking excited. I intercepted alien communications. 3 different species are trying to scan our ship with long-range sensors. They want to detect our secret weapon. Dr. Lisa Carter smiled. Perfect. Pete, can you make the machine create energy readings that will show up on their scans? Nodded. I can make it look like we are generating power levels that should not be possible. The aliens will detect energy signatures that break their understanding of physics. Danny Torres arrived, still wearing his flight suit. I practiced the demonstration routine 15 times. I can make it look like I am using probability control to perform impossible maneuvers. Jake looked around at his team. In 3 days, they had created an elaborate lie that could fool the most advanced alien scientists in the galaxy. Mistake would mean disaster for all of humanity. There is one problem, said Dr. Lisa Carter. The Vexstar are known for their analytical minds. They will want to examine the device closely. If they touch it or scan it too carefully, they might realize it is fake. Amy had an idea. What if we tell them the device is dangerous to their species? We could say the quantum fields would interact badly with their crystalline biology. Dr. Kate opened her tablet and started typing. I can create medical reports showing that probability fields are toxic to silicon-based life forms. The Vexstar will not want to risk their lives to examine our machine. Pete was already working on modifications to the device. I can add warning signs in alien languages, radiation symbols, danger warnings, anything that will keep them away from close examination. Jake felt a mixture of excitement and terror. They were planning to lie to the entire galaxy, but it might be the only way to save humanity. 5 more days, he said. Then we find out if humans are as good at lying as they are at surviving impossible situations. The space station Harmony Point was the largest neutral meeting place in the galaxy. Today, representatives from 17 different alien species had gathered to see humanity's secret weapon. Jake Morrison felt his heart beating fast as he walked. Through the station's corridors, the human team followed behind him. Dr. Lisa Carter carried a tablet with fake technical data. Pete Collins pushed a cart with the covered quantum resonance field generator. Amy Walsh had hidden her sensor ghost devices around the station during the night. Danny Torres wore his best pilot uniform, ready to perform flying tricks that looked impossible. They entered the main demonstration hall. The room was huge, with a transparent dome that showed the stars outside. Alien representatives sat in curved rows, their different shapes and sizes, making the place look like a strange museum. Admiral Zefkal stood up when the humans entered. Commander Morrison, we are eager to see this technology that has made your species so successful. Jake walked to the center of the room. He felt small, surrounded by so many alien beings. Today we will show you the quantum resonance field generator. This device allows humans to manipulate probability itself. A new alien species Jake had never seen before spoke up. They looked like giant insects with silver wings. I am Hive Queen Zach of the Nexari Empire. We have traveled far to witness this demonstration. Our scientists are very curious about probability manipulation. Dr. Lisa Carter stepped forward. Technology is based on quantum field theory. By adjusting resonance frequencies, we can increase the likelihood of favorable outcomes while reducing the probability of failure. The crystalline Vexstar representative, Commander Vextel, made a sound like breaking glass. Show us proof. Words mean nothing without evidence. Pete Collins pulled the cover off the machine. The quantum resonance field generator looked even more impressive under the station's bright lights. The crystals glowed with inner fire. The alien symbols seemed to move in the light. When Pete activated it, the machine hummed with power that made the air vibrate. Alien sensors throughout the room started beeping. The energy readings were off their charts. Amy's hidden transmitters were working perfectly, creating fake power, signatures that looked impossible. The energy levels are incredible, whispered a slug-like Garati scientist. Our instruments cannot measure power this high. Jake felt a moment of pride. Their fake machine was fooling alien technology that was centuries ahead of human science. Now for the practical demonstration, announced Jake. Pilot Torres will show how the quantum resonance field affects probability during flight maneuvers. Danny Torres saluted and walked to his fighter ship. The small craft sat in the middle of the demonstration area, surrounded by floating obstacles that formed a deadly maze. Any pilot trying to fly through it would crash within seconds. Danny climbed into his ship and started the engines. On his private communication channel, he spoke to Amy. Ghost transmitters ready. Ready, Amy replied. When you start flying, our sensors will show your ship in multiple locations at once. Danny took a deep breath and launched his fighter into the obstacle course. To the watching aliens, what happened next looked like magic. The small ship twisted through gaps that were too narrow for it to fit. It turned corners that should have been impossible at that speed. It appeared and disappeared from alien sensors, showing up in places it could not possibly reach. The Nexari Hive Queen buzzed loudly. This violates every law of physics we know. How is the ship moving faster than our sensors can track? Dr. Lisa Carter checked her tablet. The quantum resonance field creates probability distortions around the ship. Pilot Torres is not just flying through the obstacles, he is increasing the probability that clear paths will exist where he needs them, what the aliens could not. See, was Danny pushing his ship far beyond safe limits. Its engines were running at dangerous temperatures. His life support systems were failing from the stress. Sweat poured down his face as he fought to control a ship that wanted to tear itself apart. But to the aliens, it looked like Danny was casually defying the laws of nature. Commander Vextall of the Crystalline People stood up. "We demand to examine this device closely. Our scientists must understand how it works." Jake felt cold fear in his stomach. If the Vexstar examined the machine, they would discover it was fake. But Dr. Lisa Carter was ready for this. "I must warn you," she said seriously. "The quantum resonance field interacts dangerously with silicon-based life forms. Exposure could be fatal to your crystalline biology." She showed them fake medical reports on her tablet. Charts and graphs proved that probability fields were deadly poison to the Vexstar people. Commander Vextall looked at the data and stepped back. "We will observe from a safe distance." Danny completed his flight demonstration and landed his fighter. Steam rose from the overheated engines. The ship had barely survived, but the aliens thought they had witnessed a miracle. Admiral Zefkal spoke for all the alien representatives. "This technology is beyond anything we have ever seen. How did humans discover such power?" Dr. Kate Morgan stood up with her box of fake artifacts. "We found ruins of an ancient alien race on Earth. They were called the Precursors. These devices were left behind when they disappeared 65 million years ago." She showed them the crystal tablet with alien writing, the fake carbon dating reports, pictures of made-up archaeological sites. Everything looked real because she had spent days making it perfect. The insect-like Nixari examined the artifacts from a distance. "These precursors had technology we can barely imagine. But why did they disappear?" "We do not know," replied Dr. Kate. "But they left instructions for building probability manipulation devices." Humans spent 20 years learning to use their technology safely. Pete Collins pretended to have an accident with the machine. Warning lights flashed red. Alarms started sounding throughout the station. The quantum resonance field generator began making dangerous noises. "Probability storm," shouted Dr. Lisa Carter. "Everyone get back. The field is becoming unstable." The aliens panicked and moved away from the device. Jake Morrison ran forward and started pressing buttons on the machine. The lights flickered, and the alarm stopped. "Crisis averted," Jake announced. "But this shows how dangerous our technology can be. One small mistake could have torn a hole in space itself." The alien representatives looked terrified. They had wanted to see humanity's secret weapon, but they had not expected something so powerful and unpredictable. Admiral Zefkal spoke for the entire council. "We have seen enough. Humanity clearly possesses technology that could threaten the stability of the galaxy. We recommend that all species avoid conflict with human forces." As the aliens began to leave the demonstration hall, Jake felt relief. Flooding through his body, they had done it. The biggest lie in galactic history had worked. But as he watched the alien representatives file out, Jake realized that their problems were just beginning. Now they had to keep lying forever. 6 months had passed since the demonstration at Harmony Point. Jake Morrison sat in his captain's chair aboard the UCS Defiant, reading reports from human colonies across the galaxy. The news was better than he had ever hoped. "Colony ships are reaching their destinations without interference," reported Amy Walsh from her communication station. "The Zephyrian Empire has redirected 3 major trade routes to avoid human space. They are calling our territory the Probability Zone." Dr. Lisa Carter looked up from her research tablet. "I intercepted scientific communications from the Vexstar Collective. They are warning other species that human space contains dangerous quantum distortions that could affect ship navigation." Jake smiled. The aliens were so afraid of humanity's fake weapon that they were spreading the lie themselves. Every story made the deception stronger. Captain Ron Bradley entered the command center with a data pad full of colony reports. Settlement Alpha 7 has completed its terraforming project ahead of schedule. Beta Station has increased food production by 40%. The breathing room we bought with our demonstration is letting our people accomplish amazing things. Pete Collins walked in carrying a new device. It looked even more alien and dangerous than the original quantum resonance field generator. "I finished building the Mark II version. If anyone asks for another demonstration, this one can create even more impressive light shows." The 6 months of peace had allowed humanity to grow stronger. New colonies were thriving on worlds that had once seemed impossible to settle. Human ships were exploring regions of space that other species had abandoned as too dangerous. Trade between human worlds was making everyone richer and more secure. But Jake knew their success came with a price. They were living a lie that got bigger every day. Amy's communication board started beeping with an urgent message. Commander, I am receiving a priority transmission from the Outer Rim colonies. It is from Colony Chief Mark Davis on Kepler 438b. Jake pressed the accept button. A hologram of a tired-looking man appeared above the communication console. Mark Davis looked worried and excited at the same time. Commander Morrison, we have a situation out here. A massive alien fleet just entered our system. They are unlike any species we have ever seen before. Jake felt his stomach drop. How many ships? Over 300 vessels, replied Mark Davis. They are huge, at least twice the size of our largest colony ships. They sent us a message demanding to speak with human military command. Dr. Lisa Carter looked at Jake with concern. A new species. One that has never heard our stories about the quantum resonance field generator. The hologram of Mark Davis continued. Commander, these aliens know about our reputation. They mentioned the probability zone and the quantum distortions. But they do not seem afraid. They want to test our defensive capabilities. Jake's mind raced. Everything humanity had accomplished depended on other species being too scared to challenge them. If this new alien fleet was not afraid, the entire deception could collapse. What species are they? Asked Captain Bradley. Mark Davis shook his head. They call themselves the Dominion of Keth. They look like giant metal spiders with energy weapons built into their bodies. Our database has no records of them. Amy pulled up star charts showing the Outer Rim. Kepler 438b is one of our most remote colonies. Only 800 people live there. If this Dominion of Keth attacks, the colonists cannot defend themselves. Jake made a decision. Tell Colony Chief Davis we are on our way. Full speed to Kepler 438b. As the UCS Defiant changed course toward the Outer Rim, Jake called his senior staff to the briefing room. The fake quantum resonance field generator sat in the center of the table, its crystals dark and silent. We need to convince another alien species that humans have impossible technology, Jake said. But this time it might be harder, Dr. Lisa. Carter was already working on her tablet. The Dominion of Keth must be from outside our local galaxy group. They have heard stories about us, but they have not seen the evidence that convinced the other species. Pete Collins examined his fake machine. I can make modifications to create new types of sensor readings. Different energy signatures that will look alien to their technology. Danny Torres cracked his knuckles. My ship barely survived the last demonstration. For something this important, I might need to push it even further. Jake looked around the table at his team. They had convinced 17 alien species that humans possessed reality-bending technology. Now they needed to convince 18. There is something else to consider, said Dr. Lisa Carter quietly. The other alien species are watching to see what happens with the Dominion of Keth if we fail to convince them. Every species in the galaxy will realize that we have been lying. The weight of that truth settled over the room. Else humanity's entire expansion into space depended on maintaining their reputation as a species with impossible technology. Amy's communication equipment beeped with another message from the Outer Rim. Commander Colony Chief Davis reports that the Dominion of Keth fleet is moving toward the planet. They are demanding an immediate demonstration of human defensive capabilities. Jake stood up and walked to the window that showed the stars rushing past. Somewhere out there, 300 alien warships were preparing to test whether humans really possessed the most powerful weapon in the galaxy. How long until we reach Kepler 438b? He asked. 18 hours at maximum speed, replied Captain Bradley. Jake turned back to his team. 18 hours to prepare the most important performance of our lives. If we succeed, humanity's expansion continues. If we fail, every human colony becomes a target. Dr. Lisa Carter was already sketching new technical diagrams for upgraded Quantum field theory. Pete Collins was making notes about machine modifications. Danny Torres was studying flight manuals for dangerous maneuvers he had never attempted. "There is one more thing," Jake said. "I am recording a message for future human commanders. A complete record of everything we have done and why we did it." He activated the ship's recording system and looked directly into the camera. "To whoever leads humanity after us. Our greatest weapon was never superior technology or military might. It was our ability to make other species believe we were more dangerous than we actually are." Jake paused, thinking about the incredible journey that had brought them to this moment. "We convinced the galaxy that humans can bend reality to our will. The truth is that humans just refuse to give up when things seem impossible. We take risks that other species think are insane. We survive in conditions that should kill us because we are too stubborn to die." He looked back at his team, who were working frantically to prepare for their next deception. "The lie we created has given humanity time to grow stronger. Our colonies are thriving. Our people are exploring new worlds. The galaxy respects us because they fear what they think we can do." The recording system captured Jake's final words. "But remember this. Lies only work as long as people believe them. If the truth ever comes out, humanity will need to be strong, enough to survive without our reputation. Until then, we keep lying, we keep growing, and we keep proving that sometimes the most powerful weapon is the one that exists only in your enemy's imagination." As the UCS Defiant raced toward its confrontation with the Dominion of Keth, Jake Morrison realized that humanity's greatest challenge was just beginning. They had convinced one part of the galaxy that humans possessed impossible technology. Now they had to convince the rest of the universe. The lie that saved humanity would have to become even bigger.